Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video tutorial, I am going to show you how to set up and design a single post template in Elementor Pro. So as you can see here on my demo website, if I go to one of my post pages, this is currently what my individual post pages look like. So I'm going to show you how to make your post pages look a lot more professional. So the first thing we need to do is go to the WordPress dashboard. And then we'll go to Elementor and then go to the theme builder. And then in the theme builder, click on single post. Right now, we don't have any single post templates set up, so we'll just click on add new to add a new one. And then Elementor will give you a library of templates that you can choose from. I'm going to X this out and create my own template from scratch. Now, here we are in the page builder, and then if you look here on the left panel, we see some additional widgets like post title, post excerpt, post content, post info. So we can use these widgets to create our template for our post pages. So first thing we'll do is we'll take a post title and I'll drag that onto the page, and Elementor will automatically pull in a title of one of your existing posts. And you can change this if you want to, although this is just for preview purposes only. But if you want to change the preview post, come up to the top left, click single post settings, go down to preview settings. And if you click into this drop down menu here, you can start typing in a name of an existing post, and you can pick from any one of your existing posts that you already have. So I'll click this one and click apply in preview. And you can see the post title widget automatically updates for that particular post. So if I drag in a featured image, it will automatically show the featured image for that particular post. For now, I'll just delete the image. All right, so right below the heading right here, or the title, we can put our author name and date for the post. So that would be the post info widget. We'll get rid of the comments and the time. And then what we can also do is maybe give this a background color here. So we'll click on the 6 dots, go to the style tab, and we can choose a color, or we can use one of our global colors. So I'm going to actually just use one of my colors here. And then we'll go to the advanced tab. We'll unlink the padding or unlink the values for the padding, and we'll just set the top padding to 50 and the bottom to 50. And then click here on the title, go to the style tab, and we'll just change the color of the heading. And we'll do the same thing with the post info widget. Just click on the post info widget, go to the style tab, go to text, and we'll just change that to white, and then change the icon to white as well. All right, next thing we'll do is we'll set up like 2 columns down here. We'll put our featured image on the left and our post content right below it. And then on the right hand column, we can put our recent posts. So to do that, we'll click here on the plus sign, look for the container widget. We'll drag that onto the page. We'll go back to the plus sign and we'll take another container and drag that into the first one. And then we'll duplicate this container. So now we have 2 containers, but they're stacked. We want to put them side by side. So we'll go to the main container and set the direction to be horizontal. So now our containers are side by side. We'll go up to the plus sign again. We'll take a featured image. We'll drag that onto our page, and then go back to the plus sign and we'll take post content and put that below the image. Now, what we can do is we need to align the image so it's perfectly lined up with the left, or with the title and the post info right on the edge. So we'll click on the image, go to the style tab, and we'll say alignment left or start. But it's not perfectly lined up. You can still see there's a little bit of space there. And that's because Elementor will usually put some extra padding inside of the containers. So we'll click into this container here where the image is, go to the advanced tab, and we'll just set our padding to 0. And now you can see the image is perfectly lined up with the title and the post info. All right, now for the right hand side, we'll put our recent posts. So we'll first take a title widget or a heading widget, and we'll drop that into our page, and we'll say recent posts. And then we'll put our post widget right below it. So go to the plus sign and search for posts, and we'll take the post widget and drop that in below the recent posts. And then we'll change it from 3 columns to maybe 2 columns. And then we'll get rid of the excerpt right here. We don't need that. We'll turn the image width down just a little bit so that it's not so big. And then we'll get rid of the comments from the metadata. And then we'll go to the style tab, we'll go to content, and we'll use one of our global colors for the title of the post. We'll turn the size down just a little bit. And then we'll come down to meta here. This is like for the date, so we can pick whatever color we want. I'm going to use like a really light gray color. I think that looks good. And then for the read more, we'll use our accent color. All right, so that looks good. Another thing we can do is maybe make the left column bigger than the right column, so we can give our post info some more breathing room and more space for our content. So we'll click here on this left column here, and then we can just put our cursor right on the edge of the column, and we can just drag it out as much as we need to. I think something like that looks good. And then for recent posts, maybe we can give this a background color so we can separate it from our post content. So we'll click on that container here, go to the style tab, and for background, I'll just use one of my global colors. So we've got this light gray color, that looks good. And we can see everything is right on the edge, so we can give it some padding. So if we go to the container here, go to the advanced tab, for padding, we can say maybe 20 pixels of padding. That looks good. And then for the post content, I think this is a little bit too far extended out, so we can maybe bring it in a little bit. So if we click on the pencil icon, go to the advanced tab, change the width to custom, and then we can use this slider right here to control the width of our post content. So we'll say maybe about 85%. That looks good. Now for the image, we can maybe we can do something to the image. We can maybe round the edges off a little bit and give it a little bit of a subtle box shadow. So we'll click on the image, we'll set the border radius to maybe 20, or maybe we'll do something like 12. I think 12 looks good. And then we'll come down here to box shadow, and then we can adjust these values down here to give our image a box shadow. So let's see here. So you can see we have a shadow, but we don't need anything. We don't need too much. We want just a real subtle shadow here. So I'll extend the blur out just a little bit. And I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but there is a real subtle shadow behind this image. And I think that actually looks good. Another thing we could do is maybe pull our image up a little bit into our heading. We can do that with using like a negative margin. So if we click here on the pencil icon for the image, go to the advanced tab, unlink the margin values, and then just use negative margin to push it up a little bit. I think that looks good. Let's see. So let's actually go to this container up here where the heading is. Go to the advanced tab, and let's change the bottom from 50 to 100, and then click back on our image, and then we'll just push it up a little bit more. I think that actually looks perfect. All right, so we'll leave that just the way it is. All right, so let's publish our changes. So we'll click publish. It's going to ask us where we want to display our template. We'll say add condition and all singular, and then save and close. And then if we go back to my demo site and go to one of my post pages, we can see how it looks. And I think that actually looks really nice. Something that we could do though is maybe give our text a little bit, some spacing in the text right here to make it a little bit easier to read. Let's take a look at some of our other posts that have longer headlines and just see how everything looks. All right, so it looks good. A couple things that we could do is also fix up this heading right here because it's actually kind of touching. So we want to adjust the line height here. So that's one thing that we can fix. Another thing that we can do, like I said, is we'll give this some extra spacing to make it more easier to read. And then we have a lot of empty space over here. So what we can do is maybe make our recent posts kind of float as the page, as we scroll down, we can make the recent posts stay with us. So that actually would clear up that empty space. So let's go back to our template. So we have our preview set to this post right here. I'm going to change it to this particular post so we can have our 2 lines of text. So we'll copy the heading. We'll go back to our single post settings, go to preview settings, and we'll search for that particular post. Here it is. Hit apply and preview. Now we can see that we have 2 lines of text here. So let's click on this post title widget, go to typography under the style tab, and then for line height, we can adjust the line height right here. So what I like to do is remove pixels and just click here on the pencil, and then for the line height, we'll just put maybe like 1.5 or maybe 1.3. 1.3 is good. So we'll leave it on that. And then for recent posts, we want to make this float. So let's click here on this container, go to the advanced tab, motion effects, set sticky to top, and now it'll float. And then we also want to make the spacing in this for the post content a little bit more spacing to make it easier to read. So we'll click on the pencil icon, go to the style tab, go to typography, and for line height, we're going to change it from pixels. We'll just go to the pencil, and then we'll just put maybe 1.9. I think looks good. All right, so let's publish, go back to our site, and we'll refresh it and see what everything looks like. So now our text line height looks good here, and then we have our text. You can see we have more spacing, so that looks a lot better, cleaner. And as we scroll, our recent posts stay right there with us. So that actually looks really nice. The only thing is this is actually going into our footer, which I don't like. So let's actually fix that and keep the recent posts in its column. So we'll go back to the template and we'll click on the container for recent posts, go to the advanced tab, go to motion effects and stay in column. We want to toggle that to yes, hit publish. And now if we refresh our page, let's see what we have. Oh, let's refresh that again. Did I not? Oh, I didn't publish. All right, now let's refresh that and let's see what we got. Much better. So I think that actually looks really good. Now, another couple things that we need to possibly make changes to will be the tablet and the mobile version of our site, because you can see here, it looks good, but it's not perfect. So let's fix this up a little bit. So starting with the tablet, what we can do is give this some more padding on the inside. So we can do maybe, let's unlink these values. Let's put the top to 50. We'll put the right to 50, the left to 50, and then the bottom we'll go with 100. I think that looks good. And then we'll click here on this container, and we're going to set this to be vertical so we can get our recent posts down at the bottom. So that looks better down there. All right, so that looks good down there. And then we need to also fix this container here. So we'll click on this container and we'll make the width, we'll set it to 1% and we'll put 100%. And then maybe let's put our image in the middle. So we'll click on the image, go to the style tab, and we'll center it in the middle. And then for the post content, you can see it's still at 85% from the desktop view. So we'll click here on the pencil, go to advanced. We'll change it from 85. We'll just go to 100%. There we go. Let's click here on this container, go to advanced, and we'll set the padding to 40 to bring the text in a little bit. I think that looks good. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's unlink these values, and we'll change the right to 40 and the left to 40. Actually, maybe we'll go a little bit more, 50. This way, this post content is lined up with our heading and post info. And then we got the image in the center. And I think that looks good. Maybe for the recent posts, we can give it 3 columns. That might look good. So we can do 3 columns or 2. It's really up to you what you think looks best. I think 3 looks fine. So we'll leave it on 3. And I think we're good on our tablet. So this is really simple. Looks good, clean and simple. All right, so we'll publish that to save that. And then we'll go over to the mobile version and we'll make some adjustments here because we can see some adjustments need to be made. So starting with the title, let's click on that and adjust the typography a little bit. We'll make it maybe 23 pixels is good. I think that looks good. We could go a little bigger, maybe 25. And then the image, I think, looks fine. We have our post content right in the middle. We could probably change the padding though. Instead of 50, let's do maybe 30 on the top, or actually let's do 50 on the top, 30 on the right, 100 on the bottom, and 30 on the left. And then we'll kind of repeat that here for this column. So we'll do 50 on the top, 30 on the right, 30 on the bottom, and then 30 on the left. I think that looks good. And then we'll just move our image up a little bit. Let's unlink these values first, and let's change that to maybe a negative 100. Let's go a little bit more. Let's try maybe 125. All right, that looks good. All right, and then for recent posts, I think we can just leave it with one column. I think if we put two columns, it might be too much. So we'll leave it on one, but we'll turn the image width down just a little bit. I think that looks fine. All right, so I think we're good on that. All right, so let's publish that. Now, one more thing that we could do. A lot of blog sites will typically put their categories on their post pages. So I think we could do that as well. So there's a couple ways of doing that. The first way is we can just duplicate this post info. So we'll click on that and duplicate it, and then drag it above our heading. And then we'll delete one of these out of here. And then we'll click into the first one that's left. We'll change the type to terms. And for taxonomy, we'll change it to categories. And you can see we have our categories showing on our post. So this is a really simple way of showing it. I don't really like doing it this way though, because it's actually showing our subcategory first, which is dogs, and our main category is pets. I think it would look better to say pets and then dogs. So the only way to do that is to use some custom code. So if you're okay with this, you can just leave it like this. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to go the other way with the parent category first and then the subcategory second, let's just delete this. And then on my website, there is a link in the description of this video that will give you some code that you will need to use. First, I'm going to publish our changes. We'll go back to the WordPress admin. We will need to download a plugin called Snippets. I've already installed it here on my demo site, but if you need to download it, go to plugins and then go to add plugin and then search for code snippet. And then you're going to find code snippets right here. You're going to click install and then activate. And then once you've done that, you'll see snippets here on the left. Click on snippets. You're going to click add new. And then you can give it a name here, whatever you want. You can call it like Breadcrumbs, for example. And then go to my website. Okay, and here on my website, I have some code right here, how to display WordPress category breadcrumbs with parent and, showing the parent and child categories. So you're going to take this PHP code here. We'll just click on this little icon to copy the code. We'll go back to WordPress and we'll paste that code into here. And then we'll click save and activate. Now I'm not going to really click this because I've already saved it. But you would just click save and activate. And then once you do that, if you go back to my site, you're going to see the short code that we're going to need. It's right here. So we're going to copy this short code. And then we'll go back to our template. So we'll go to theme builder and then to single post, and we'll edit our single post template. And then we'll come up to the plus sign and we'll search for the short code, drag that above the heading, paste it in the short code box. And now you see we have the main category and then our subcategory, but the color needs to be changed. So I do have some custom CSS on my site you can copy, and then you can just modify the hex values for the color code to match your website. So we'll just copy all this code, go back to our template, go to the advanced tab for where we put the short code, go to custom CSS, paste that code in there, and now we have our categories at the top, and this looks much better. So now if we refresh our page, there we have it. We have our main category and our subcategory. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, be sure to like it and subscribe for more videos like this.